The most dangerous thing in a relationship isn't the blatant actions you can clearly see, it's the words that seem harmless, yet quietly erode you from the inside. They arrive gently, sometimes with a smile, a warm handhold, or a reassuring whisper, but it's precisely that sense of normalcy that makes you drop your guard. Each sentence is like a dose of anesthetic, blurring your boundaries, slowing your instinct to protect yourself. By the time you notice, you're already deep in an emotional spiral with no clear way out. These words aren't just red flags, they're fire alarms blaring in the very home you live in. Ignoring them is like standing still while flames creep into every corner of your room, consuming every safe space in your heart. The frightening part is, most women are taught from an early age to give others the benefit of the doubt, to believe in someone's potential instead of their reality, to patiently heal rather than put their own safety first. This conditioning dulls your instinct to recognize danger. You no longer see clearly who truly loves you and who is simply testing your limits to see how much you'll endure. Some men don't come into your life to walk beside you, they come to exploit. They don't carry knives or shout in your face, but their words carry an energy that drains you, confuses you, and makes you question yourself. You leave a conversation unsure why you feel smaller, less worthy, as if you must apologize just for feeling what you feel. That's manipulation. In Eastern philosophy, words are not just sounds, they carry energy, intention, and the level of respect the speaker has for you. Every word they speak is an arrow. It can lift you up or pierce the armor, protecting your spirit. When someone speaks to you, they aren't just sharing information, they are transmitting the entirety of their inner state into you. If that inner state contains contempt, control, or selfishness, that energy seeps into you, shaking your confidence and inner peace from within. What makes these words so dangerous is that they are often disguised as ordinary. At first, you might reassure yourself it's just his way of joking, just a harmless comment, or worse, you might blame yourself for being too sensitive. But the moment you start doubting your own feelings is the moment you've handed him the key to enter, rearrange, and control your inner world. Choosing the wrong person doesn't just bring heartbreak. It reshapes how you see yourself, how you invest in your career, how you maintain friendships, how you connect with family. It can even affect your physical health and financial future. Every decision you make becomes tinted by that relationship. And if its roots are in manipulation, every attempt to heal afterward is simply mending wounds you never should have been given. On the other hand, if you're clear-eyed enough to recognize and walk away at the first signs, you protect not only your heart, but your time, your energy, and your chance to live a whole, fulfilling life. Because real love will never make you shrink, never make you question your worth, and never force you to choose between your peace and keeping someone in your life. When you hear those words, understand this, they're not accidental. They are tests. They measure how far you'll retreat, how much you'll accept just to stay. And every time you brush it off, every time you tell yourself it's probably nothing, you give away a little more of your power. This isn't about being paranoid or overly critical. This is about the survival of your emotions, your self-respect, and your future. So when you see these signs, don't hesitate. Walking away is not weakness. Walking away is the act of someone who knows she is worth more. Women don't lose their ability to sense danger naturally. That ability is eroded little by the lessons, stories, and expectations planted in them from childhood. You're told to be accommodating, to focus on someone's potential rather than their reality, to believe that with enough patience and love, you can change a person. These ideas sound noble, but they quietly strip away your instinctive defense system. Society has built a mold for women. Patience is a virtue, forgiveness is noble, and true love endures every flaw. But when you're taught that to love is to endure, you unknowingly learn to ignore warning signs. Instead of listening to the alarm bells in your chest, you search for explanations for someone's behavior. You see potential where you should be seeing truth. This is exactly why emotional predators can walk so easily into your life. They don't have to break down doors, the gate is already open. They step in with sweet words, warm eyes, even genuine acts of care at first. But behind it all are small tests designed to see how you react when your boundaries are crossed. An emotional predator doesn't have to be aggressive or explosive. Often they're patient observers. They use words to probe, gradually lowering your standards without you realizing it. They'll make a subtle jab, then watch your reaction. If you stay silent or laugh it off, they take another step. Every move is calculated. What makes them dangerous is how they exploit the way you've been conditioned. They know you fear being called too sensitive, difficult, or selfish. They know you've been trained to prioritize others' feelings over your own. They know you fear disappointing someone else more than you fear losing yourself, and they will use exactly that to control you. Eastern philosophy teaches that words carry energy. When someone speaks to you, they don't just share information, they transmit their inner state, their intent, and the level of respect they have for you. If you leave a conversation feeling lighter, stronger, and more empowered, that's a sign of respect and genuine connection. But if you leave feeling smaller, more confused, or doubting yourself, that's a sign of manipulation. The danger is that your brain will try to rationalize that feeling away. He probably didn't mean it like that. Maybe I'm just being too sensitive, or everyone says the wrong thing sometimes. And every time you dismiss it, you're training yourself to ignore your own inner voice, the very alarm system meant to protect you. When you lose touch with your intuition, you also lose the ability to distinguish between those who truly love you and those who are simply exploiting you. You start relying on what the other person says instead of what you feel. This is the perfect ground for an emotional predator to take root and take control. Choosing the wrong person doesn't just ruin a relationship, it can derail your entire life. It can disrupt your career when you lose focus or confidence. It can strain your other relationships as you isolate yourself to avoid judgment or doubt. It can damage your health as prolonged stress wears down your body. And it can impact your finances when you invest your time, money, and energy into something unworthy. Recognizing an emotional predator early isn't just about protecting your heart, it's about protecting your entire life force. And the first step to doing that is understanding this. You are under no obligation to heal or save anyone. Your responsibility is to protect yourself, trust your intuition, and never allow anyone to use their words to strip away your inner strength. When a man tells you you're too sensitive, you're overreacting, or you're making a big deal out of nothing, understand that this is not a harmless remark. It's a strike at your ability to feel and protect yourself. It's designed to plant a seed of doubt. Are my feelings really unreasonable? Am I blowing this out of proportion? A kind man, when he sees you have a strong emotional reaction, will choose to listen, to ask questions, to understand what made you feel that way. He doesn't have to agree with everything you say, but he will respect your right to feel. In contrast, when someone rushes to label you as too sensitive, what they are really doing is refusing to face the truth that their words or actions have caused harm. The danger is that at first you might let it slide. You think, maybe I am overreacting, or let's not make a big deal out of it. But every time you stay silent, your boundaries are pushed back a little further. You start shrinking your responses, controlling your emotions to avoid being labeled. And over time, you lose touch with your intuition, the internal alarm system that tells you when you're being treated unfairly. This phrase often comes wrapped in a gentle tone, even in a show of care. It might be paired with a smile or a tender touch, but at its core, it's a test. The speaker wants to know if you're willing to sacrifice your truth for the sake of keeping the peace. They want to see how much you will self-adjust just to keep them comfortable. Once that seed of doubt takes root, it grows. You begin to scrutinize every feeling you have, asking yourself over and over, am I making too big a deal out of this? Am I really too sensitive? And when you get used to doubting yourself, you also get used to ignoring the things that make you uncomfortable. You stop trusting the very instincts that could save you from a toxic relationship. The long-term effect of being labeled too sensitive is losing a healthy connection to your own emotions. You no longer recognize when you're being hurt or when you need to protect yourself. You become a more agreeable version of yourself, less demanding, but also less you. And that's exactly what manipulators want, someone easy to control, easy to predict, and unlikely to challenge them. The troubling part is how normalized this behavior has become. Many women accept it as just part of being in love. They believe men are just like that, and that they should be less sensitive to keep the relationship stable. But the truth is the opposite. A man who is emotionally mature will never make you doubt the validity of your feelings. He understands that your sensitivity is emotional intelligence, your capacity for deep connection, and an essential part of real love. Remember, your feelings are your compass. They do not need permission to exist. When someone dismisses them or makes you doubt them, they are stripping away a part of your autonomy. And when that autonomy erodes, you lose the ability to tell the difference between genuine love and disguised control. If someone responds to your emotions with curiosity, listening, and an effort to understand, that's a sign of safety. If they respond by dismissing, mocking, or blaming you for being too sensitive, that's a sign to step back and reassess the entire relationship. You do not need to shrink yourself to fit within someone else's emotional limits. You deserve to be loved in your entirety, including the moments you are vulnerable, raw, or intensely reactive, because it's in those moments that you are most human and most alive. When a man says to you, "I'm just being honest," or "I'm just telling the truth," stop and look closely at how he just used his words. Not every truth comes from good intentions. Some truths are nothing more than a polished disguise for cruelty, and this phrase is often dropped right after a comment that cuts deeply about your appearance, intelligence, dreams, friends, or family. The problem is, by hiding behind honesty, he turns a hurtful act into a virtue. He shifts the responsibility onto you. If you're upset or hurt, it's because you can't handle the truth, not because he just said something unnecessary or deliberately harmful. This is a role reversal tactic. The harm doer becomes the brave truth teller, while the person wounded is branded as weak. Real truth is not a blade swung at anyone at any time without care for the wounds it leaves. Truth, when spoken with love and respect, always comes with compassion, a sense of timing, and a desire to lift the person up. But truth that's wielded to diminish or assert dominance is no longer truth, it's verbal violence. The danger is that our culture has glorified honesty to the point of treating it as the ultimate virtue, sometimes even above kindness. We're taught that it's better to hear a harsh truth than a sweet lie. And from there, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we should be grateful for jabs, criticisms, or cutting remarks so long as they're labeled honest. But ask yourself, if that truth truly came from love, why does it make you feel smaller, weaker, and less worthy? Why does it leave you doubting yourself instead of inspiring you to become better? Love doesn't need to wound you to prove it's real. Real love knows how to say hard things in a way that makes you feel safe, respected, and motivated to grow for your own sake, not out of fear or pressure. When you get used to accepting truth, mixed with cruelty, you start lowering your standards for how people are allowed to treat you. You begin to believe that love means enduring harshness. You start thinking that loving someone means allowing them to say whatever they want, even if it hurts you. And in doing so, you quietly decide that protecting your self-respect is somehow optional. Men who use "I'm just being honest" as a shield have no intention of building you up. They want to control your emotions, to keep themselves on higher ground, so you're always on the defensive. Their words are not meant to deepen connection. They're meant to assert that they hold the power to define who you are and what you're worth. The truth is, you can have both honesty and kindness at the same time. It's not an either or. Emotionally mature people understand that truth. Without compassion is not honesty, it's brutality dressed up as morality. And when someone chooses to hurt you in the name of truth, they're showing you exactly where their priorities lie. Their right to say anything matters more than your emotional safety and well-being. Remember, you have the right to expect both truth and respect in how that truth is delivered. You don't owe gratitude for words that wound you just because they wear the label of honesty. And you certainly don't have to stay with someone who uses truth as a weapon. Because a relationship is only worth keeping when truth is used to build, not to destroy. When you set a boundary and he responds with, "You're trying to control me," understand that this is not an innocent reaction. It's a way of flipping the script, turning your legitimate need into a wrongdoing. Instead of recognizing that you're communicating to protect safety and respect in the relationship, he labels you as controlling and restricting his freedom. Boundaries are not chains. Boundaries are the safe framework in which love can grow. They say, this is what I need to feel respected, safe, and whole with you. An emotionally mature man understands that expressing your needs is not about control, it's about creating a healthier connection for both of you. But manipulators don't see boundaries that way. To them, boundaries are obstacles, barriers to their convenience and absolute freedom. When you say, please call me if you'll be late, or I'm not comfortable when you speak to me that way, or I want us to spend time together without distractions, they don't hear a desire for connection. They only hear limitation, and they immediately twist it into proof that you're controlling. This tactic is dangerous because it makes you afraid to voice your needs. Every time you try to protect your emotions and get labeled as controlling, you step back. You start minimizing your needs, shrinking your feelings, telling yourself, if I'm easier to please, things will be fine. Over time, you take pride in being low maintenance without realizing you're sacrificing your inner peace just to hold on to a relationship that doesn't truly respect you. When boundaries are ignored, the relationship loses balance. You give more, receive less, and slowly accept behaviors you once swore you'd never tolerate. You mold yourself into the easy partner to avoid conflict, but the cost is you, the real you, with limits and needs that deserve respect. A man who truly loves you will want to know your boundaries so he can love you better. He will listen, ask questions, and adjust his behavior because he knows that's how trust and connection are sustained. He understands that boundaries are not walls that block love, they're the foundation that keeps love strong. In contrast, a man who reacts by accusing you of controlling doesn't care about your emotional safety. He cares more about his comfort and freedom than your peace. He wants to maintain full control in the relationship, and any limit you set is seen as a threat to that control. Notice this. Men like this often demand that you respect their freedom but fail to respect your right to feel safe and be treated fairly. They want all the benefits of a relationship, care, support, love, without any of the responsibility required to sustain it. If you stay in a relationship like that, you'll slowly lose your ability to say no when you need to. You'll forget that you have the right to be loved without sacrificing the core of who you are. And one day, you'll realize you've lost yourself just to keep someone who never truly valued you. Boundaries are not a sign of control. They're proof that you know who you are and what you need for love to last. The right man won't just accept that he'll value it, because he knows it's your boundaries that keep the relationship healthy and strong. When he says, I'm not ready for a serious relationship, yet behaves as if the two of you are in love, take it as a major red flag. This isn't pure honesty, it's a way to keep you in limbo, where he enjoys all the benefits of a relationship without carrying any of the responsibility that comes with it. He'll text you every day, spend most of his free time with you, share personal details, even introduce you to his friends or family. All of this creates the illusion of deep connection, making you believe it's only a matter of time before he's ready. But behind the closeness is an invisible wall. The statement he made from the start, I don't want anything serious. This tactic is clever because it puts you in a bind. If you ask for more, he'll remind you, I told you from the beginning, making you feel like you're the one changing the rules. If you stay, you silently agree to being a temporary option. And if you walk away, you might carry the lingering regret of thinking you gave up on something that could have been if you'd just been more patient. The truth is, when a man truly wants to be with you, he's clear. There's no not ready, no not sure, no let's see what happens. When he recognizes your value, he acts decisively because he knows the chance to be with the right person is not something to gamble with. The cruelty of this situation lies in how it keeps you in a constant state of hope. You tell yourself that if you love enough, wait long enough, prove your worth enough, he will change. In reality, he's perfectly content keeping you in the halfway position close enough to receive your affection and care, but distant enough to avoid commitment. The damage of a limbo relationship is that it slowly wears down your self-respect. You begin to believe you have to earn the right to be chosen, that commitment is a reward you must work for. You accept less than what you truly want and convince yourself it's normal. But real love isn't a prize given to someone good enough. It's a choice, freely and clearly made from the start. Men who say, not ready while keeping you close aren't confused. They know exactly what they want, the perks of a relationship without the obligations, And they know that by giving you a mix of intimacy and hope, they can keep you around for a long time without giving more. Remember, your time and energy are limited. Every day you spend waiting for someone to be ready is a day you close the door on someone who is ready to love you now. And every moment you accept a temporary position, you send the message that you accept half-hearted love. If you're with someone who keeps you in a constant state of waiting, ask yourself, what am I hoping for? Am I hoping he will change, or am I hoping I can endure long enough for him to be ready? Your answer is the measure you need to decide whether to stay or leave. Real love doesn't make you question where you stand. It doesn't make you dissect every text or action to guess what you mean to them. It's clear, consistent, and makes you feel chosen, not because you demanded it, but because for someone who truly loves you, it's the most natural thing in the world. When he says, "You've changed," and adds a shake of the head or a disappointed look, what he's really delivering is not a neutral observation. It's a subtle accusation designed to make you question your own growth, especially when this comment comes at the exact time you've started becoming more confident, setting clearer boundaries, or pursuing bigger goals for your life. At first, you might wonder, have I really changed for the worse? That question seeps into your mind, making you scrutinize every action, every decision, and compare who you are now to the version of you he used to like. And often, that version was the one who was more agreeable, less demanding, and focused most of her energy on him. The issue isn't that you've changed, it's that your change no longer serves as comfort or control. When you grow stronger, you depend less on his validation. When you set boundaries, you limit his ability to act however he pleases. When you focus on your dreams and personal development, you shift the center of your life from him to you. And for someone who's emotionally immature, all of that feels like a threat. You've changed, when used as criticism, is really an invitation to shrink back into the smaller version of yourself, one that's easier for him to handle. It plays on the natural human desire to be loved and accepted. When someone you care about implies that your growth is the reason the relationship feels different, you're forced into a conflict, continue evolving or preserve the relationship. Many women, fearing the loss of love, choose to shrink. They stop pursuing goals, cut off friendships, turn down career opportunities, even quit therapy, all because he says, "You're not the same anymore." They sacrifice their own progress to keep the peace, not realizing the price they're paying is their identity and potential. A man who truly loves you will never see your growth as a threat. He will feel proud when you become more confident, more self-assured, more aligned with your purpose. He will support changes that make you a better version of yourself, even if that means you need more space and freedom. For him, love isn't about keeping you small enough to fit into his hand. It's about expanding together to hold space for both of you as you grow. In contrast, when someone responds to your change with criticism, it reveals a hard truth. Their affection is conditional. It exists only as long as you remain the same. Only as long as you don't disrupt the habits and roles they've grown comfortable with. That's not love, it's possession. You must remember, change is proof of life. Everything that exists either grows or withers, and you cannot stop evolving just to fit someone else's idea of you. If you have to suppress yourself to maintain a relationship, that relationship survives only because of an unequal sacrifice. When someone says, "You've changed," as a reproach, ask yourself, does this change bring me closer to the person I want to be? Does it make me more authentic, happier, and freer? If the answer is yes, the problem is not you, it's that the other person cannot or will not walk alongside your journey. You are under no obligation to shrink to fit into someone else's vision of you. Your growth doesn't need everyone's approval, but it does need your own. Because in the end, real love doesn't just love who you were yesterday, it also loves the person you are becoming tomorrow. Those statements are not just casual lines in a conversation. They are a map pointing directly to the other person's true intentions. They reveal the level of respect, understanding, and value he places on you. Once you can recognize them, you'll see things more clearly, not to lose faith in love, but to know how to tell who deserves to stay and who should go. Because there are men who will never say such things. They respect your sensitivity because they see it as emotional intelligence. They speak the truth with compassion because they want to build, not break. They listen to and honor your boundaries because they understand they are the foundation of trust. They commit clearly once they recognize your worth, and they are genuinely happy to see you grow because they know your growth enriches the relationship, not threatens it. But to meet such people, you must stop making excuses for behaviors that hurt you. You must stop rationalizing words that plant seeds of doubt and insecurity inside you. And most importantly, you must learn to listen to how you feel after every conversation. Do you feel lifted or diminished? Clear or confused? Encouraged to be yourself or pressured to shrink? Your body and your intuition never lie. If something feels off from the beginning, trust it. Don't let loneliness, vague hope, or fear of loss silence you in the face of clear warning signs. Because every time you ignore them, you're not just accepting those words, you're accepting a lower standard for how you allow yourself to be treated. Walking away is not failure. Walking away is the act of someone who knows her worth. It's not giving up on love, it's making space for real love to enter. Every moment you spend trying to convince someone to treat you well is a moment you're not giving to the person who would love you naturally. See your boundaries as gates, not walls. They don't block love, they filter for the right kind of love. The right person won't try to tear them down. He'll find a way to walk through them with respect. And when he does, you can open your heart fully because you know you are safe. Every time you honor your own boundaries, you are teaching others how to love you. Every time you walk away from those who ignore your needs, you are affirming your self-worth. Every time you choose your peace over someone else's comfort, you are laying the foundation for healthy, lasting relationships. You are not responsible for healing those who hurt you. You are not responsible for teaching them how to love you, right? And you are certainly not responsible for staying just because they are not ready. Your only responsibility is to live true to yourself, to respect what you need, and to protect your inner flame from being extinguished by someone who doesn't value it. The love you are seeking is also seeking you, but it will only recognize you when you are fully yourself, not pretending to be smaller, not forcing yourself to be easier, not compromising with what wounds you. And when someone says one of those lines to you, remember, it's not just words, it's a reminder for you to choose, keep sacrificing yourself, or return to protecting who you are.